take like 5 to 10 deep breaths. Yep. Deep breaths. And it not to set us off for the topic today, but it does a world of good. Like I go from a 70 out of 100 of stressness to like a 30 in a matter of, 15 seconds. I think we're getting started. You gotta wait for that little sound to end. Namaste, my earth-dwelling fellow seekers of knowledge. Welcome to my mandala. At the present moment, since there is no other moment but the present moment, we will embark upon a journey of the mind. Much like a Tibetan monk in the caves of the Himalayas. We will focus on nothing but the unencumbered bliss that is 401k. Your karma basket will overflow with retirement plan, inner peace, and love. As you walk forward in your Arissa journey, walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet. Communicate as if you are caressing the petals of a lotus flower. As the wise sage duo of William S. Preston Esquire and Theodore Logan so wisely stated, be excellent to each other. And as Rogue Guy says,
excellent to each other.
You know what they namaste. You know what they namaste. I can't take credit for that. That was Brandon's. You know what they namaste. Let's see. Let's kick this off. Jesus. We're gonna have some great opportunities, as you can tell, for the chat bar champion content today. Tons of fun stuff to dig into. Fred, don't forget, you will be voting someone into the semifinals. So all that means is try to pay attention to that chat bar. Your first goal is to be a solid guest. Your second goal, pay attention to that chat bar. See who really makes you laugh. See who brings intelligent comments, adds to the discussion. See who can stay clear of peps. Come on, Webb, we're just getting started and you're going with the peps. And you will vote someone into the semifinals. And don't forget, you out there, you peace-loving beings, you will vote someone in to be the champion of the chat bar. So you do the same. Pay attention to that chat bar. Acrosin. We're going to be playing Acrosin, but we got another great guest who actually respects his health and doesn't like drinking poison every Thursday night. So we're going to drink that poison on his behalf. And the way we're going to do it, guys, is if Fred fails Acrosin, his name will come up on the screen as the graphic you're aware of, but we will start with Brandon. We'll drink for Fred. Then the next time it'll be Justin, then Chad, then me, then Mark, kind of in sequential order and back to the start.
Yeah, that's going to go well.
Back to the start. That will be Acrosin.
Don't sabotage us, Fred. Don't sabotage us.
It's too much incentive.
I'm more concerned about keeping track with who's next.
Yeah,
we can handle that. We can handle that.
Chad.
Last time we just winged it. So we'll do it that way. And so that's it. That's all the little housekeeping stuff. Justin, introduce our guest. By the way, you've been killing it, Justin. You've been on a real roll. You've been doing such a great job. So yeah, continue the trend, man. Introduce our guest.
Today's gonna kidding.
Likely.
I don't know. We'll see. You guys will be the judge of that. But
we will.
This fine gentleman is one of the industry's most respected and leading sources of all things educational and news related. And got news for you, Fred. Many have said the same thing about the Retireaholics, so you're in great company. He was a driving force behind the launch of NapaNet in 2012 and NapaNet magazine in 2013, serving as their first editor-in-chief, and was also cited in 401k Wire's most influential people in the 401k industry in that same year. Met his wife at a Lou Reed concert, used to party with Ramones back in the day, but has since given up that life of booze and cocaine for daily meditations and yoga. Namaste.
Nice.
He's the founder of
You're not done. Keep going. You're
the Retirement Advisory University, the Plan Sponsor University, 401k TV, as well as one of the contributing authors of RPA Convergence.
Wow.
Barstein.
You know what to do out there, everybody. You rate Justin on a 0 to 10 on his, what are you putting up there, Mark? A 3? A 4?
Three acronyms in there.
Oh, he's got a drink. Yes.
That
But
usually
I'm-
comes beforehand or after.
I'm with Matt Schmedium Jackson when he says, hot damn, that's a 10. Yes, Schmedium boy. It was a 10. Justin has been bringing it as of late. Before we dive into a couple of our main topics, let's talk a little bit of headlines, just keep y'all updated. Not that you don't all see this stuff on LinkedIn and all that kind of jazz, but One Digital, those, Vince Morris and Carrie and those people over there have acquired Janya, the $5 billion, now $6 billion woman at what's Janya's firm called? Fiduciary Plan Advisors. That's almost as creative as Plan Design Consultants. And it's not just Janya. They got other people over there. Her cohort, Chad Wilson. So congrats to One Digital. Congrats to Janya. That's big news. And One Digital keeps going, man. They keep sucking them up. So
anyone else wondering what the EBITDA was on that?
The
I don't know. I was
biggest of the
taking
big.
some gas. It's a couple mil, right? It's got to be a couple mil and getting 15 times EBITDA. I don't know what we're talking about here. I'll try to find out.
Plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellent.
Got some solid EBITDA there. Let's see. What else do I have here? Hey, let's talk acquisitions even more. Hub lands or acquires the 401k coach. So good old Charlie Epstein,
really?
Epstein Financial Group. Charlie was repped by our buds at Wise Rhino Group, Dick, Peter, and Rob. So we've Dick Darian, a past guest on this show. And there's another little acquisition that went down. If you don't know Charlie from 401k Coach, who the hell are you? Do you even do this job? Like he's big time in this and been doing it for decades and was on the forefront of educating advisors to do better stuff. And in this kind of Janya Stout theme, I would like for all you out there to try to pay attention to maybe some email blasts from us, social media posts. We are kicking off a little charity gig with Janya over the next 2 weeks for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So we're going to be trying to dig into your pockets. And if you donate a certain amount, I don't have all the details yet, but you'll be put into some raffles to win Retireaholics gear. And I think if a certain amount is reached, they're going to shave my beard on the June 17th show.
Oh,
we
damn.
do. So anyways, all I'm asking is keep an eye out for that. See if you can help us out and reach some of those charity goals. And then lastly, next week on this show, I'll say it again at the end, special guest, Preston Rutledge. What? Yeah, he's going to be here next week. So we're excited about that. Before we get into topic number one, I would like to share a little internal email at Plan Design Consultants. Yes, sir.
You owe 2 drinks, by the way.
Oh, are you serious? Okay.
One. I don't have the buttons if you need me to use them.
We got an internal email at Plan Design Consultants with a client, a small client, asking to terminate their plan, their 401k plan. I don't know the details behind it. Was it the cost? Were people not using it? I'm not sure what it was. To terminate the plan. Well, Chad was copied in on this internal email with a bunch of people, and he chimed in with something that's pretty simple, but pretty genius. And I hadn't thought about it yet. And Chad, I'm giving you public kudos right now. You said, hey, maybe we should start letting these clients know that when to terminate their plans, that they're in California and they have a CalSaver state-run plan mandate. And so following our normal protocol of like, sure, we'll terminate your plan, not a problem, maybe isn't the best advice. We got to let them know they kind of have to have a plan. And I'm started thinking like, geez, that's kind of good news for TPAs in California, advisors. Not that I want people to be stuck in the plans. Yes, I'll drink. So Chad, what do you think about this? This is different.
Well, I think through this pandemic, we've seen folks in a position where they have to close the plan. Shouldn't say that. They're choosing to close the plan because the take rate on it is low, while participants are getting laid off, moved around, the restaurant space, the agricultural space. And what they don't know is that if they shut it down here very shortly, they're going to have to comply with CalSavers, and someone needs to have that conversation with them. They're not reaching out to us, unfortunately, to have a discussion. They're reaching out to the advisor, and the advisor, unfortunately, is not filling them in on those requirements. So I think it's upon any of us in this business to make sure that even when someone's looking to close the plan, we continue to consult.
It opens up a whole new conversation. On the one hand, I kind of have two minds about it, right? On the one hand, I'm like, oh, wow, if done properly, we might keep a lot more of these smaller plans, right? They might decide that they wanted to close up, but then they realize, well, you mean I just got to go open something else somewhere else and just say, ah, screw it. We'll just keep with what we had. And in a way, I like that as a business owner that runs a third-party administration shop. But on the flip side, I wonder, like, geez, is that awkward? Are we forcing all these people to stay in something? And I feel a little weird about it, but we definitely, Chad's right. I mean,
It's
advisors.
not our fault.
Yeah,
No.
fair enough.
And we need to be able to consult with them and let them know, here's what it's going to look like on the CalSaver site. Here's what it's going to look like with what you currently have. And in the scenario that you're referencing here, the client's response back was, there's just not enough interest from the participants. And this plan was not set up for the interest of the participants. It was set up as a safe harbor plan, a max fund for your partners, and business is struggling a little bit, so they're not in a position to max fund. And so their thought is, we'll save the $2,000 a year in expense and the operational time. And so someone just needs to spend a little bit of window with them and say, look, if you haven't already looked into CalSavers and you think your operational time on the 401k is bad, wait till you start getting into the, and I'll quote the person, the DMV of retirement plans when you're offering CalSavers to your employees.
Ooh, Department of Motor Vehicles.
It gets you every time, buddy.
I think that's good. And you're such a logical person. I think there's going to be a lot of them that aren't even doing any kind of comparisons. You know, they're not even aware, and they're just coming and saying, hey, we need to shut this down because for whatever reason. And by simply counseling them, whether you're advisor or a third-party administrator or the record keeper, to say, hey, just so you know, you have to have a plan. You do have other options. I think a lot of them will just be like, oh shit, okay, if I have to have one, then just leave it be. Let's just move on and make best with what we got.
JD, I don't know if you have this on the calendar or the to-do list for later conversation, but Fred, you have the, I forget what they're called, the videos that you post every week that just give you like the top 5 things that happened in the space in the last prior week. One of those, you were talking about state ran plans and how specifically you were in New York, but you were talking about how businesses now with people working from home have overlap. You know, one state has one requirement, another state has a different one. A third state has no state-run plan, and how you monitor all of that. Super interesting thought. Like, I've been narrowly focused on California because that's where we're sitting. But the truth is, you could have a business closing their plan that's in Illinois or Indiana or Texas or New York City or any of these others and be in the exact same boat that we're talking about here.
Yeah, the problem is for the for the business, the people who runs the business, especially with remote workers. You got workers in many states. I mean, we have a small company with 25 people. We've got workers in 5 different states. So now we have 5 different, and I actually asked Mark Avery that, it's like, what's up with these state plans? And it really doesn't make any sense. And he said, I agree. The Fed should step in and have a national policy, but they dropped the ball. So I think eventually it's going to be a federal national policy, but this state patchwork is crazy.
Didn't it start out as a federal policy? I mean, it was Senate Bill 123, right, or 4 with Obama, and then when President Trump stepped into office, that's when it got shut down, right?
No, it was, Avery said that he worked with both McCain and Obama, and it was on both of their platforms during the 2008 election. And Obama, was going to do it, ready to do a federal mandate. And they said, okay, before we do that, we want to get into healthcare first. And they never got past healthcare. And that was the reason. So it wasn't like it was shut down by Trump. It's just that the healthcare sort of overtook it and it got pushed to the side.
I wonder if we'll see something in this Democratic office. that
I think we
goes
will.
federally?
We're seeing a flurry, you know, in the video I do is called 401k Real Talk. And the last week, you know, I talked about, there's just a flurry of, you know, the Secure Act, ESG funds, MAPS, Senator Warren did something on forgotten plans. I did something today in my talk. There's an estimate of $1.35 trillion in forgotten accounts, 24 million
Damn.
forgotten accounts.
We heard a
So,
little new stuff on emergency savings too this week, right? Which sounds interesting.
emergency savings, as I said, is the biggest no-brainer. I don't know why we just don't, you know, have an automatic emergency savings for up to 3 months of people's pay. I mean, that will get rid of loans.
Your point is just there's a lot coming at us and a lot coming at us
A
fast.
lot. It's all going to be, I think, rolled up into one in the Secure Act, but student loans are in it. And, you know, it's the one of the few bipartisan issues in Washington, but they got to clean up the state. The state shouldn't be, different states have different fiduciary rules, different requirements for small businesses. It's crazy.
Fred, I'm in the same boat as you. Sometimes when you think like, oh, that's a big employer problem, right?
No.
So it's only the big employers that have employees in all these different states. I'm a tiny company as well, and I've got them in 5 or 6 different states. So,
Yeah.
and my HR and payroll have to deal with all these different rules. So it really is something that the government needs to be cognizant of because it creates a mess. What did I do?
Human
What did I do?
resources.
Oh, thank you.
Crystal, who said what I missed that one.
Yeah, that's
Me
why I
too.
just asked her in the chat bar because I don't know who it was.
Oh, good. She's calling us out. Fred, you had a
Oh,
recent
it was-
article.
Oh,
I think
Brandon's
It was
first.
Fred.
I think it was like yesterday. There you go, Brandon. Drink. I think it was like yesterday. You came on this article, the future as elite retirement plan advisors see it. You talked about a survey that was done by the Retirement Research Center, and half of these people surveyed were advisors with more than $3 million in DC assets.
300.
300 million. What did I say? $300?
Yeah, $300.
Yeah, $301. These are big shots. And there was a lot in there. You covered a lot of different subjects, but let me just pick out a few and get some of your thoughts. It said 66% of their fees are still asset-based versus flat fee. I don't know whether I'm surprised by that or not surprised by that, but do you see that changing a lot? And has that been changing rapidly? I mean, if we looked back 10 years ago, it wasn't more like 100% or 99%. So clearly the needle's moving, but is that a trend that you're watching and you see continuing?
Yeah, it's an important trend. It's not moving fast enough. 10 years ago, we moved from commissions to fee-based, and we haven't really done a lot since. So I'm not surprised that it's still 66% asset-based on it. So, you know, what we're starting to see is flat fee plus services. You know, so if you're doing participant services, one-on-one meetings, so it's really more flat fee plus activity. It should be in that way. And there was a Columbia University lawsuit just settled. And one of the things that Columbia University agreed to is move the record keeping fee from an asset base to a per participant fee. So it is where it should be going. It's not moving fast enough. It really should move to a per participant, a flat fee.
Flat
plus
fee.
activity.
Like, yeah, call those like supplemental services, you charge some other type of fee for. It seems like a fair approach.
It's obviously a segment of the market that can get away with it, but as you go smaller market, the way the asset-based fee works is you're often subsidizing, the larger plans are subsidizing the cost of the smaller plans.
Could be, yeah.
And so it can be tough to go flat fee in the micro space because those businesses aren't in a position to write. I saw in that article a minimum of 10K is the revenue target for those advisors. Well,
yeah,
if you're setting up a 700, taking over a $750,000 plan, it's tough to say I have a revenue target of 10K.
Well, I thought those, I'm glad you brought that up, Chad, because I thought the audience would like to hear that 10K kind of average or goal. but I'm not suggesting that in the small market, they'd have to hit 10, because I'm going to be an advocate of the flat fee here for a second, even in the micro market, just play this argument out. And let's say it's not 10, let's say it's 5K, you know, they need to make 5K on these smaller plans. And to Chad's point, Chad's saying, well, geez, these plan sponsors are used to, you know, paying what, Chad, 1% of 50K of flow or something, you know? So
Yeah, something
you know,
tiny.
they're paying some small amount for record keeping. And then the advisors coming in on a lot of these plans and only charging 50 or 75 basis points and making even less. But let me ask y'all, we'll go to our guests first, and then maybe I could hit it over to Mark. I mean, is it fair to compensate an advisor 50 basis points on a $200,000, you know, micro market plan? I mean, that advisor's not making any money.
Yeah, I mean, it's the question of fair is, okay, what are the services they're providing? How much time is it taking? What's the quality of service? And I think what you're seeing as a result of the way that we're pricing is most of the elite advisors, you know, they don't really sniff plans below 3 million. So it's that micro market, that small market is serviced by the blind squirrels, who really delegate everything to, you know, the record keeper and the TPA to do the work, right? You know that more than anyone. Right?
Yeah. Oh, that's you.
That's you,
to
JD.
drink. Oh no.
I thought that was
that's
you.
to me. Is that to me or you?
No, it's Justin.
We're
Oh,
different on
we're
everybody's
order.
screen.
I don't think we are. I don't
But
know.
Chad,
No.
Fred's jumping on your and I's debate from last week or the week before, where I was losing my shit on advisors in the micro market not doing the job. When it comes out of Fred's mouth, it sounds so much more eloquent than when I get mad at you. He was talking about them delegating it to the TPAs and the record keepers. Dang it, I'll drink for that. But I'm still going to call bullshit on that, in the sense that, and I'll ask Chad, could the micro market plan sponsors understand and accept that it's no longer going to be a 50 basis point advisor fee, and now it's going to be a $3,000 flat fee, because $3,000 is what it's worth and 50 basis points wasn't anything? And then we can get to a world, let me finish, where those advisors can stop delegating and being blind squirrels and not doing anything and actually do their job.
My response will be a very loud no, in 2 reasons. Number one is the advisors, even at 3K.
That wasn't very loud.
No!
Thank
How's
you.
that, Mark?
Thank you. Yeah.
Those advisors charging 3K in that space, they're gonna make twice that off the private wealth. And I think Fred mentioned in that article, and I wrote it down here, 34% get half of their wealth management clients from cross-selling the retirement plan. So they're going to be incentivized to get the K plan because they want the ancillary business, not because they want K plan most of the time. And then secondarily on that topic, JD, the problem that we have in that micro space is that the advisors who will service, who will charge 30 basis points, are telling the same story in that point of sale as the advisor that's never sold a 401k plan. And they're charging 25 basis points instead of 3K, which is $0 on the startup versus 3K on the startup. And the difference is those folks are good sales folks, and they're in there saying, well, you're going to have a great local concierge to help with enrollment and education through John Hancock. And we're going to do the annual ACR every year. Hancock will give us this wonderful report. Yeah, I saw that, Mark. And we'll step in there and we'll do a fiduciary view, and we'll have a co-fiduciary on the 321 or 338 side. They're telling the same story. Now, is the service going to be the same? No. Does the client know that? No. And that's the problem in that micro space, is it's very hard to distinguish yourself or differentiate yourself.
Go ahead, Fred.
One of the ways around that, though, is, you know, the PEPs, right? So PEPs are a way.
Did Fred just make me drink for a pooled employer plan and almost make me spit my beer on my keyboard for calling it a solution to the micro market? Go on, Fred, but I'm about to delete you from this show. Go ahead, speak.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, there was a lot of research in that DCEA. It's the Retirement Research Council, is part of DCEA. That study about you know, those pooled employer plans, and that is potentially a way for the elite advisors to service smaller plans. They can charge the pool plans, and do it. Now, whether they'll do it or not, but the research showed that like over 90% thought that the pooled employer plans would be for the small micro market. So that is a potential way for them to enter and serve micro plans.
I'll take up way too much time in this show. Yes,
Yes.
that is a potential way. Emphasis on potential.
No question, potential.
Could happen. Could, yes, maybe in a million years. They also said the greatest source of prospects is referrals. I'm going to kick this to you, Mark. They said 47% of their referrals, I think that's how I read the stat, are coming, or their prospects are coming from referrals. Isn't this just a cool way of answering how do you get new business? And you just say, oh, I'm a cool guy. I get them from referrals because I do great work. Or is that a reality? Do people really get new prospects from referrals? I'm asking you, Rogue Guy.
Absolutely. But I think in my mind, something that I saw, that sentence after that was that 20% come from group health shops, which I thought was actually a smaller number than I would have expected, which shows me that there's a huge opportunity there for people to begin targeting those health shops and providing them a resource for ongoing 401k business. But well, yeah, absolutely. I think again, we're in a relationship-based industry. Yeah, referrals are huge. It's a private, people put that shit in their email signature. The best thing you could do for me is refer. Gee, get that off your email signature. But I get it. Yeah. So my answer is yes, absolutely, 100%.
You know what's funny is I didn't think of referrals as like strategic partners. I thought of like, oh, your clients are referring you. And
well, I think I was going to say it's a pretty open, subjective term to use, but if you want to
argue, then 100% of our business comes from referrals.
Right. Of some sort. Right.
Yeah, I get that. But I'm always annoyed by that thing, Mark. And I actually got one today from like my car insurance, home insurance guy that was like, it was, hey, can you recommend me to 3 of your friends, you know, because I do good business. I'm like, oh, get the hell out of my inbox with
that's why I got a call from your insurance guy. Son of a bitch.
I told him we had you. So that's cool. And then I'll finish the article with this. The survey asked them a bit about work from home, and the results seemed interesting to me. Like, it seemed like a lot of those people were kind of okay with the fact that life is going to change for good. Yeah. I imagine I was going to hear from these big shot advisors like, oh, we're going back to the office and we're going back to things as normal. But Fred, you're shaking your head. You wrote the article. That's not what we heard, was it?
No, I think it's changed in all aspects. So it's client, prospecting and working from home. Although I did see that only like 6% are going to go 100% people working from home. I think 14% said less than 10% are going to work from home on that. But remote working is here to stay. It really, the pandemic has opened up advisors to have national practices now. They don't have to be limited to a geographic area. There's a great firm we do a lot of work with in the Midwest, and they did that 3 or 4 years ago. They service all their clients remotely. And it's also going to open up access to participants. It's better to work with participants through a Zoom after hours, because if you're like me, your spouse does most of the financial planning anyway, and having them on the call and having access to the information, the world has changed. And, anybody who thinks they're going to go back, on the other hand, people do have to come back to the office once in a while. I think there is some real value in being face-to-face, talking to people, seeing people. We got rid of our office. Our lease was up at the end of the year, but we try to find as many ways to get together as possible.
Yeah. I think we've been talking about this ad nauseum for the last, 14, 16 months, but I think we're finally starting to figure it out now that no, it is going to be different. We are going to embrace technology. And I don't know what I know what Mark's laughing at, and then I immediately my
David.
eyes dart to the chat bar.
David
So
K.
On fire
you're
today.
always
Good one.
distracting us out there, people. Can't you just go home and let us do this show by ourselves? I'm
They are at home.
kidding. Oh, that's right.
Hey, JD, something
yeah.
that probably got overlooked in that article that I think is good for all of us to hear, because I've believed it to be true since the moment I stepped into this space. That I think, Fred, you wrote the greatest value of a wholesaler, and we'll throw third-party administrators in as wholesalers. We'll say the greatest value of a wholesaler is intellectual capital.
Competitive intelligence.
Competitive intelligence. Yeah, like to me, that should show us all something. That should tell us all that the advisor teams are looking to us to be a true resource for them, not just for the work that we can deliver or the product that we can bring to the table. And I think we've done a good job of that. I think the TPA community, damn it, as a whole has. But that's something we all need to hear and remember, that we're not out selling a product. We really are out there, as Shannon mentioned in the chat, we're being teachers to our advisor partners.
Well, don't forget, Chad, that a lot of these advisors don't do 100% 401k. This survey even talked about it, right? So they're doing wealth management, planning, other things. The people that are in this industry, like third-party administrators or defined contribution investment only or wholesalers, they're living, breathing, and sleeping retirement plan all day, every day. So they do have a higher level of that intelligence that they're talking about in the survey, and you can deliver on that. And so there's a value there, and you need to tap into it. Like, that's all you do is this stuff. They don't. You've got some things that they can learn from that can help them out. It's not that you're smarter than them. It's just that you're doing it more.
Right. I mean, in my meetings, when I meet with, record keepers, DCIOs, broker dealers,
Who's that?
I would say
Mark?
80% of the meeting is they want to know what everybody else is doing. Tell me what's going on in the market. What are others doing? What are you hearing? Gossip. 10 or 20% is talking about this, the stuff that I do and trying to work with them. But that's the greatest value by far that I bring to meeting with people.
100%. Let's spin the old and unimproved but integrity-filled wheel of ice. And we'll see who's drinking a Smirnoff and potentially a frozen maker. And then we'll move on to health and mental health and stress management. Spin that wheel.
The wheel of ice, the wheel of ice.
No whammies. Oh,
You know it's going to land on that one.
Every time it's everyone, it lands on it, dude.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Bring me everyone. What do you mean everyone?
I guess I'm opening this because this is happening.
Yes.
Thank God.
Save. Okay, let's see. Shit, I had this whole pitch going on. Fred, tell everyone a little bit about 401k TV while we pound these Smirnoff ices.
Yeah, 401k TV, when we've done close to 500 half-day training programs with plan sponsors. And when we were live, what I thought would be interesting was to do a 3 to 5 minute video with plan sponsors right afterwards, based on something they said. So it's articles, but it's mostly videos from plan sponsors.
Good, thanks, Fred. Appreciate it. Thank you, Fred.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Hold on. Time out real quick. Time out real.
We'll
Sorry,
come back
Fred.
later now.
Yeah. Is the
dick.
short version of television, does that count in accuracy?
I was wondering that earlier.
Ooh, I think it does.
Because JD said
Not
it,
if it's
Fred
a proper
said it.
name.
It counts. No, proper names count. Okay, I owe one. Then
So-
Brandon, you owe one, and I think Justin owes one.
All right, good.
All right, let's see. A survey found that 71% of financial advisors said they experience moderate or high levels of stress. Financial Planning Magazine says that. I thought that was one of you. I was looking down at my notes. Is that Mark laughing at me? That's a weird laugh. Financial Planning Magazine says that advisors report 26.2% more high levels of stress than the normal people, human beings. You guys are stressed out there. And I get it. You've got markets that go up and down, financial markets. You wear multiple hats. You've got complicated subject matter. You got tons of competition. You know, you're striving to keep your job. You're dealing with people's money. That's stressful just in itself. And then you've got the Internal Revenue Service, the Department of Labor. I mean, I get where the stress comes from, but let's also talk about lifestyle. And by the way, this isn't just advisors. This could be third-party administrators out there. This could be industry peeps like we've talked about, the wholesalers and the different roles. So let's talk about lifestyle. You're a suit and tie professional or professionally dressed woman. What's the suit and tie equivalent? I need to come up with that. And you're running around in your BMW selling clients, you know, trying to get new clients, servicing your existing clients, dealing with your email inbox and people's desire for you to respond immediately these days or within 20 minutes because of their smartphones. You had less than an ideal breakfast because you had to prep your PowerPoint or your Prezi for the day. If you're cool and hip, you use Prezi instead of PowerPoint, Chad. And you got to deal with paperwork. You got to fight traffic. You got to be an entrepreneur and run your business back at home. I mean, this is stressful stuff. And so I get it. I'm going to go straight to Mark. Do you think advisors or financial services pros experience more stress? Do you agree with some of these thoughts I said than the average human? And if so, why?
Well, see, I'm a horrible person to ask this question only because, no, when you say average human, right? I don't know what that means.
Non-financial services person.
Which is a lot of fucking people, and there's a big spectrum of different people who do I'm sorry, the person who is operating on Sally, who's having a bypass surgery and might die on your that's stressful, okay? Right. But at the same time, being awake at 4 a.m. with a newborn and you're a new like, there's a whole spectrum of stress, and we're all stressed out, man. It's just levels. It's relative. Yeah. So what? Your job's stressful. Guess what? So is everyone else, dude. Like
the argument, though. That's the argument with proper balance and perspective that you don't have to be stressed.
Okay, Chad. Everyone focus on the screen up there.
That is
one thing is I'm drunk, but I'm not.
That's the epitome of non-stress,
okay,
right?
Fred, let me ask you. Maybe I was way too harsh with that little rant there. On the flip side, you're an entrepreneur. You can pick your own schedule. You can, decide if you want to take Fridays off every day. You get to work with different types of people and help them. So give me the other side of the coin. Do you think that there's some opportunity for advisors to have a great life as opposed to a stress life? I mean, maybe I was being too pessimistic.
I think I agree with Mark. Being stressed out is a human condition. It's a natural reaction to whatever we're facing, and it's all relative. Like you say, the person who has to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to take care of their kid, or the doctor operating, or anyone. So, I think there's an opportunity for everyone to deal with stress, and when we figure out how to deal with stress, that's when we can define success. Okay. That's our job, how to deal with stress, not to fill out forms, manage people's money. How do we deal with stress? And really, for a financial advisor, especially retirement, how do we help people? When they look at their 401k balance and it goes down, or, the owner that wants to terminate their plan, how do they help people deal with stress? If you react to stress with more stress, probably doesn't help. So that's we're stress managers.
I'm with you. Everyone's got it. We all deal with it. I don't know whether stress led you to this, but let's embark on your story, Fred, to meditation and mindfulness. Many, many years ago, I think it all starts with a 10-day silent meditation retreat. Tell the audience, tell the other retired. Yeah, Mark's like 10 days. Shit. I don't think I've gone 2 minutes in my life. Oh, there I am. Yes. Enlightened, JD. Fred, tell us how you
It's amazing.
came upon this and what the first experience was like. And, just give us a little taste of the beginnings for you.
For the beginning. Yeah. So I've been, doing different forms of spiritual study and practice for over 30 years. But about 12 or 13 years ago, I said, I want to learn how to meditate. Like I was doing it on my own, but I wasn't sure I was doing it right. And, I kept looking for, something, I looked at TM and, I just like, I paid $2,500 to get a mantra. I'm like, it just didn't make any sense to me.
I could have given you one of those for half that price.
I know. It's like word.
That means
so at that point, somebody that I do yoga with said, oh yeah, I just went on this 10-day silent meditation retreat. You meditate for 10.5 hours a day and you don't have any communication with anyone, no cell phones, no books, no nothing. And when I first heard it, JD, I was like, that is the stupidest, craziest thing I ever heard. No way I'm going to do that. And 9 months later, I found myself at a center, South Georgia. It's called Vipassana, is the technique. And I have to tell you, it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It was just brutal to go through that. But like a lot of things that are very hard, at the end of it, I'd never felt anything like that. None of the things that I experienced that I won't talk about in the East Village even brought me to that, level. And ever since,
you told me, Fred, that you have the kind of personality where if something hits you over the head like that and you like it, you're going all in and you're going to.
I'm all in. I'm all in all the time. So since then I've done one a year. I've done a 20-day. I conduct 1-day courses here in Jupiter, Florida.
Yes, Mark, he said he did a 20-day silence meditation.
Sounds like a cakewalk for me.
Fred, let the audience know, because I think a lot of people look at you from the outside in and think like, oh, this is just a 401k icon of education, whatever, and we all know who you are, but we don't think of you in this way. At least I never did. So also let the audience know, like, how often are you meditating and for what duration?
Yeah, so I meditate 2 hours a day, 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening.
Mark doesn't even work that much.
Okay.
Well, that's what he said after that one. Brutal, savage.
That's because he's so efficient.
Absolutely taken down.
Can't really argue with that.
And I've been doing that for about 5 years, 2 hours a day.
Fred, when you talk to people in the industry about meditation, because I gotta imagine you do from time to time.
Yeah.
What do you think is the pushback? A lot of times when I talk to people, so I'm not you, and the audience already knows, I think they've heard me say it numerous times. I'm into the Headspace app. I do a little 15 to 20 minutes, usually daily. I miss once in a while. I'm on the other end of the spectrum to Fred. I got to answer this little survey here, or so I can't see you guys.
Oh, we can't vote?
I can, but what was my damn? Oh, and I tell people about it, and the first response I get from them a lot of times, the naysayers, is, I can't sit and have no thoughts. And I'm like, that's not it. So what do you see as a deterrent for people out there in our industry? What do they say to you?
Well, I don't know if it's peculiar to our industry, just like stress. I think it's most people. I think there's just a natural aversion to sitting quietly with your eyes closed without any distractions. We're just so used to that. So I think that they're all interested. Everybody wants it. It's like the thing, everybody wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die. And so, everybody wants the effect of meditation. They want to be stress free, but nobody. So it's just the work. It's just, that's really the resistance. And I will say that half the meetings that I have in the industry, we do talk about meditation. I always bring it up. And if somebody picks up on it, I'll go with it. If they don't, I'm not going to push it, because I'm not here proselytizing. I don't want to push in it.
Chad, it looked like almost half of our audience answered the poll like, no, I don't, this isn't my thing. I'm not going to do it. But you were about to say something, Chad.
I was just about to say that truthfully, before I started meditating, I didn't understand what value it brought. Until I actually had a good session. I was stressed as fuck one day, and I was sitting in this exact chair going, never have I said this before in my life. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do these next 3 meetings. I'm overwhelmed right now. And I did a 15-minute headspace session because it was recommended to me, and I had done it in the past, but I never got value from it. I walked away feeling like an entirely new human being after that 15 minutes. The perspective I gained, the energy that I gained from it was so rewarding that it made me want to tell everybody else about it. And
I was the difference maker there for you, Chad. You'd already
you told us a lot about it.
It was embracing it, Justin. I think it was allowing myself free of thought to soak it up, versus what I had done in the past was just really tried to focus on the app and try to do nothing but what the app told me, instead of allowing myself to fall into true meditation.
I wonder if it was that. Go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead.
No, Justin, go. Yeah, go.
No, I wonder if it was that state of just pure stress that made you settle down, because you've done it before, maybe not in a stress state, right? And you're like, okay, this is stupid. I don't get anything out of it. And you're finally like, I need something.
I think you're absolutely right. It was the perspective that I needed at that moment, which was my stresses were insignificant in reality. That I had no need to be stressed for what I was stressed for. That's the whole perspective thing that I've gotten, at least from reading different Buddhist books and understanding how to meditate, was it really allowed me to take a step back and go, come on, what are you stressed for? Your kids are healthy, your family's healthy, that perspective is incredibly valuable. And I'll be honest, hour by hour, I forget that perspective. Like I get busy in something and completely derailed, and it comes right back.
Daniela in the audience said kayaking and running are her meditation. I'm going to ask you, Fred, you brought up an analogy to my surfing, and I told you that, even before I had found meditation, of course, I think there were some connections to surfing where you get this peacefulness and this mindfulness. You kind of put the real world behind for a moment. So do you think that's okay for someone like Daniela to say, like, oh, well, I run, or, I exercise, or I say I surf, and so I don't need meditation? I'm guessing you're saying, well, what do you say to that? I won't put words.
Well, I think there's all different forms and levels of meditation. I think absolutely, running, surfing. I mean, we should be meditating all the time. It's about be here now, be in the present moment. If you're working, work. If you're, running, run. So it's just a matter of how deep you want to go. For me, as I said, I'm an extremist. So the meditation that I do, it gets very, very deep. It gets to the, it's not a Buddhist meditation, but it was the meditation technique that was developed by Buddha 2,600 years ago. And this is a very pure form. When they were doing it, it was 7 weeks. It wasn't 10 days. But obviously that, is even too much. So no, absolutely, Danielle is correct.
Something, Chad, not to give you too many kudos because you always get them, but something you said to me years ago, and this kind of portrays to Crystal. She made a comment in the chat. I don't know where you heard it from, but you had said, hey, anytime you're stressed out, think about what you're stressing about, and think, is that going to matter in 5 days, 2 days, 10 years, 3 years from now? And the moment you said that to me, I started applying that, and holy hell, dude, super helpful.
Think about all the things that you were totally wrecked about 10 years ago, and then look back at it now and you kind of look silly, don't you? You're like, It wasn't.
It didn't matter.
JD, I disagree. Think about the things you were stressed about 3 months ago.
Yeah,
how many of those can you remember? And I think you hit it right. The essential wisdom of the Buddha, again, not Buddhism, is all things rise and pass. Nothing, it's like the George Harrison, all things must pass. They're impermanent.
Robe guy. You know what they namaste.
Namaste. And so
you know what
that
they
is
say.
the essence, to realize all things are going to, now those are, the downside of that is things that we really like, people that, all great loves will pass at some point. So don't become attached to it. Enjoy it while you have the moment. If it's stressful, even, embrace the stress, go right through it. There are times like I go to a conference and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. I'm in Las Vegas. There's 2,000 people. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to talk to anyone. And almost like I get on the floor or I start, and all of a sudden I'm there. I'm in the moment. So you got to be like in the moment. And I think JD, you were saying, get away from the real world. You made that. It's actually the opposite. That is the real world. When you are, you realize what you're thinking, what you're going through, you're seeing reality inside of yourselves. All the other stuff is escaping from that. So the real world is right here and now.
I think the person who's intimidated by meditation thinks to themselves that they have a busy mind and that there's lots of thoughts. And I think the reality is we all have busy minds. We all have lots of thoughts, and meditation isn't necessarily blocking those thoughts. It's more recognizing, and in my practice, they call it noting, and you note the thought, and it's kind of like, okay, I see the thought, got it, send it over, but it's not having thoughts. I want to move on to a game.
And hold on, let me make one
quick
statement to Mark, who is a naysayer to this heavily. Mark,
wow.
You are to meditation. Don't act like you're not. I've tried a million times to get you to sit for a session.
All I'm saying is you don't have to call me bad names.
So here's what I would say, Mark. When you were on the golf course and you're playing a round of golf, you are not checking your phone. You are not thinking about anything else. You are present in that moment. And that is a meditative state for you. It can be something different. What I'm trying to say is you can't always play golf, and sometimes you need to find a way to get in that state of mind. And I think something like a 5-minute session where you're simply thinking about your family, thinking about your life, something like that can lead to great perspective, even if it is that short. And I think everybody needs to find what that is for them.
Can I try to pretend to be some creepy guru teacher before we wrap this out and say, if you've ever been on the pre-show when I've been stressed because we've got a lot going on or things aren't working right, Shannon Edwards reaches out to me and says, just breathe. And part of my meditation practice is like paying attention to the breath and understanding that your breath kind of leads the rest of your body, like almost your brain and your psyche and your heart and your everything. And so if you can start to, like before a show starts, if I'm stressed, I take 10 deep breaths, it makes the world a difference. And then I start to go out in my life and realize, pay attention to my breath, like, because we never do as human beings, like slow it down a little bit. And it really helps me kind of through all kinds of stuff. I mean, you're about to get on a big Zoom call. You got to sell sorry to bring this to sales and never being spiritual, but you got to sell a $50 million plan and you got all this stuff in front of you. Just take 10 seconds to take some deep breaths and center yourself. And anyways, if anyone out there wants to, I'm going to throw this out, Fred, and throw you on the coals here. If anyone wants to reach out and learn more about meditation, reach out to Fred Barstein. You can find him. He says yes, because he spends a lot of time and is involved in a lot of these programs and spends a lot more time thinking about it than we do. So reach out to Fred. Fred, we're going to play a game. I should say you're going to play a game and the audience is going to play along with you. This song meditates me. It calms me. Play the song, Brandon, for what is now my favorite game.
Oh,
Where's the song? One of these
these things is not like the others. One of these things doesn't belong. Can you tell which thing is not like the other by the time I finish this song?
Got this
Man.
one. I've got this
That's the
one.
dark one.
Whoa, where'd it go?
The game ender. That's the game ender. Grab me one of the other ones. The easy. No, we're going. Okay, we're. No, I'm much more comfortable when you're right next to me. It makes you feel like I see it. Okay, let's do it. This is the gnarly one. We'll go straight to the gnarly one. Why not? Why
This
not?
one's this.
All right,
one's
Fred, here's how
easy.
this game works. You look at, and in the audience, you can play along in the chat bar. Which one of these is not like the other? And then you let us know your reasoning and why, you know?
Why do I feel like we're getting in trouble for this?
We always
know.
are.
Well,
That's
This is the
easy.
Wait,
what do you think
wait.
the one in the white is, Chad?
And to the audience out there, I'll tell you what you should already know. There's an obvious answer, and then there's a retireaholics answer. Okay.
Yep,
go
Matt,
ahead,
you're
Fred.
right.
Yeah, so there's one answer that get me into trouble. I'm not going to do that, but I would say the one on the extreme right is the one that's not like the other. And don't ask me why on that. So
Well, you could say, I'll speak for you.
She's not an athlete.
Thank you, Mark. She's not an athlete. So go ahead,
Yeah.
Brandon. See if Fred got it right. Because you did get it right. But oh, no, you got it wrong.
Wait,
I got
what?
it wrong.
Sure,
Yeah.
I'll explain it to you. I don't know if anyone in the audience can know.
Never been to jail.
There's a lot
never-
that can
has-
be.
has
Every one of
never
these is
killed-
different.
Has never killed someone. So
She didn't kill
You
any.
didn't kill
Oh, yeah.
anybody.
Bush, Venus Williams, and Caitlyn Jenner have all had vehicle manslaughter cases against them,
Oh, damn.
and not Tanya Harding. So
Wow.
She only just hurt Nancy Kerrigan. That was all.
that's correct. You only just heard
I-
that. And
I thought you were
that's-
saying she has killed someone and the other three had not. Now I get it. And that is dark.
right?
I didn't know the other
Great.
three had.
And in
Never knew that.
In Christina Hennessy's words, bah ha ha, bah ha ha. Yes, thank you, Christina. I agree. Let's go to the next one. That was supposed to be the closer.
No
but
wonder that was a closer.
We're kind
Jesus.
of like the band now playing their best hit song at the start of the show.
Keeps people around.
Either one. I think we can do both. We got time. No? All right. Close the industry one. I barely remember these from together. Here we go.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. We'll close. I got you. All right. You know the drill, Fred.
Oh, this
Which
is
one of
easy.
these-
Oh yeah, it's him again. It's him.
All right, Fred. Mark, you're kind of not playing. I mean, you can help along with commentary, but
Yeah, I'm helping Fred. He's our best
I
friend.
don't know. The last time you helped me, Mark, I got it wrong. So I'm going to go to the opposite. It
now we're
was,
scaring him.
I'm not
scaring
sure why this is, but I'm going to pick George Clooney as the one.
Okay.
No.
He's never been
Yeah.
Batman. He's never been
Yeah.
Batman.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
him.
That's the PC answer. Where did I screw up?
Yeah, no.
you're right.
You got it. You got it right, Mark, except for in Retireaholics world, he's the only one that's never been divorced. He's still with his original wife. So
Wow, you guys really
I like
do
it that
some
you have a
digging
real
on these
answer and a
people.
retireaholics answer.
all those other suckers.
Yeah,
they
what do you
never
guys
keep
think?
married.
Yeah, let's talk pop culture. What do you guys think of Ben Affleck and J-Lo? They're getting back
I'm-
together, huh?
That thing's doomed.
Hey, count it down. As long
I
as
don't
Ben
know.
Affleck can get his life
mean,
back on track, I'm kind of a fan.
J-Lo said she broke up with A-Rod because she couldn't trust him. I mean, come on.
Oh, and Ben
Casey-
Affleck's super trtrustworthy.
I know. And like the first thing she does as soon as she breaks up with A-Rod is she goes with Ben Affleck.
Mark,
Yeah.
thank you. We're talking pop culture with Fred in the app.
Look at Fred. Fred knows
All right.
his stuff, man.
So just
Oh,
remember when you see
wow,
Wolverine,
Daniela.
he's a dedicated spouse and he should be applauded for that. All right, the last one, which I think is pretty easy. I can't believe it. Yeah, here we go. What's this? Audience out there, you're probably going to get this a lot better than Fred. I definitely want to see some audience guesses out there on this one.
Wow, I don't even know. I'm just gonna say us again. Yeah.
Fred, can I ask
these
you,
ones.
do you know who you're looking at there? All of
I know
them?
who I'm looking at. I'm just
All
trying
of
to
them?
think, what is it? It seems like Preston Rutledge doesn't belong in all of those, but I'm not sure why. I know that Preston and Fred are lawyers, but I'm not sure that you are.
I love how your brain's working. You're not sure if we're lawyers.
Well, you know what they say.
Oh, Sully got it too. All right, go ahead, Chum. It's an easy one. I thought the audience would blow up on it.
Ouch, that hurts.
Everyone else has been on the cover of 401k Specialist magazine besides the guys on the far right. All right, let's vote for Chat Bar
That's
Champion.
pouring salt.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Why do you have to bring that up, man?
That hurts, John. That hurts.
Justin, who is your vote for Chat Bar Champion?
David K.
David K. Okay. All right. I like David K. He slides into my DMs once in
Dude.
a while. We have little conversations. Chat.
Whoa, hey,
Tonight-
that still counts.
That
Yep.
is, that does. Tonight
Got
was a really good night. Daniela, I can't give it to you, but that last comment of not needing him to talk was the best comment in the entire chat.
But
box.
who was she referring to?
Clooney.
Clooney.
Oh,
I agree with you. I agree with her.
But there, Crystal had a good night. Bill had a good night. I'm going with Brett. I felt like Brett Schaffner
Mhm.
Brett
had
Schaffner,
an excellent
Brandon.
showing tonight.
Brett Schaffner. Mark.
Well, you guys have taken my top two, and because of her activity, I'm going with Crystal. She was just on
Damn it,
top of
Mark.
it. She was
Ew.
Crystal had a
throwing it
great
out
night.
there. Yep.
I wrote right here, Crystal Benson. Oh, you can't see it. Mark told mine, so I'm going with Crystal, and I'm just doing it because she wrote some random weird shit that caught me off guard. I didn't know what she was talking about, but I thought it was interesting. Fred, who's your vote for Chat Bar Champion?
I'm going with Brett. A lot of good comments and weighed in, so I'll go with Brett. Plus, I work with Brett, so I used to work with
Fair
him.
enough.
Sorry
We
to
always
hear that. Sorry to hear that.
We always allow
Could be
for
worse.
conflict.
I'm still
Conflict of
recovering.
interest.
Sure, that's a conflict. That's an illegal transaction.
I also
Prohibited
to be clear,
transaction.
Brett
Prohibited,
was on-
sorry.
We'll let Brandon throw it up when he's ready. And as people vote, I'm gonna have to vote here too. I want to state on Brett's defense, although Brett did a great job on our show several months ago, but he did seem a little low energy. And
Very.
he had
Very.
just gotten COVID. He was on the front side of an innocent COVID of just being sick for a couple of days. And yeah.
Didn't even tell us.
And
Yeah, he told
I mean,
me.
he held through like a trooper.
He did.
Even
He
through the
muscled
after
through it.
show.
He even drank his drink. No offense.
True
Fred.
out. Well, can we be honest? Afterwards, we did think that Brett was kind of
I'm go-
didn't like us.
I have
Yeah.
to vote for Crystal since I was part of nominating her, right? Okay. Let me know. I
Good.
can't.
Brett,
Well,
you
yeah,
had
where
a
was G squared tonight?
Brett, you had an MJ flu game. Good
Come on,
for you.
people. Hey, we got a 3-horse race, so vote. Brett just cuts it sometimes. All right. Brett Schaffner, you are the Chat Bar
Woo!
champion. I think that's a first for him, right?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Anyways, congratulations on that, Brett. Next week, everyone, tune in. We will have Preston Rutledge. We're very, very excited about that. In my mind, outside of kind of our little like 401k industry niche, this is the biggest dude we've had on this show. So we're excited to have him, and he's ready to rock and roll. And,
Oh,
Is
how-
he going to drink?
Why are
Yeah.
you going to
Oh, yeah.
say that while we have Fred sitting here with us?
so I clarified that. I said within our industry, that kind
Outside.
of includes Fred. Like Fred's big time within our industry. But I think when you get into DC and that kind of stuff, Fred's acknowledging that. He's nodding his head.
I would
Fred's
say he
right
used to be, but now he's a lobbyist, so he's definitely gone down a few notches.
Whoa, bringing the rip. Everyone out there, thank you so much for tuning in. Fred, if you'll have us, we're going to do a little after show, just kind of loose talk, but you can also bail on us if you want to.
We're not going to meditate, are we?
Maybe. You never know what happens
Hey,
in the after
I'm
show.
drinking my tea now,
You
along
never
with
know
the
what
booze.
happens. And all you out there for tuning in, we really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you next week. I hope you have a wonderful, blessed Thursday night and Friday afternoon and a very Zen-like weekend, and get your meditation in. And thanks for tuning in. Peace out. That's not our song.
Oh, I thought that was the ending song.
I was gonna
Wow.
say that's a song.
Peace, medium. See you later.